That's why, this is why I awarded the Medal of Freedom to Miss Oprah Lee as well, her grandmother of Juneteenth. She knows so long as she was denied.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week, and clearly, it's party time at the White House. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they put on an early Juneteenth party, and it looks like it was rocking. Look at them all rocking. Oh, well, most of them are rocking out. Joe Biden, of course, his feeble body and feeble mind totally on display here. And I think America's catching on because there's more than a little bit of talk about Biden replacement theory. The idea that Joe Biden needs to step aside and let somebody else run as the Democrat nominee because the numbers are not looking good right now. And we're going to show you why this theory has gone from whispers to full-blown speeches on TV. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you're seeing here in this or any other video on the channel, you guys know what to do. And it's not clapping your hands, it's smashing that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that really, really good stuff, because all that feeds the YouTube algorithm.
Feed me Seymour.
As always, thank you guys so much for all that you do to help grow the channel. I really appreciate that. We're like 20 subscribers away from 2,000. It's a great milestone. Help us get there this week. And for all you newbies out there, let's just join back into the party. You know, we got to get our hands clapping and really get into the spirit of Juneteenth here. This video is not going to be about Juneteenth. It's going to be about Joe Biden and, well, kind of like what you're seeing right here. There's a lot of hand clapping going on. Everybody's on 2 and 4 except Joe Biden, and maybe it's because he's an old white guy. But honestly, I think it's a little bit more than that, and we're going to get into it right now. So like I was saying, there was sort of a party atmosphere for this early Juneteenth party. But the video is not about Juneteenth or the party itself. It's about observing Joe Biden. This is a zero-pressure speech. He's at a celebration amongst a very friendly crowd of invited guests, and he's going to be speaking to his people here. But just about every Joe Biden speech has turned into an adventure. In fact, we created a t-shirt, you may have seen it in our shop, the Biden Gaffe machine. You can check it out at shop.buffoonoftheweek.com or under the store tab for the channel.
Talk about self-promotion.
Let's see the Biden Gaffe machine in action to see if there's any new glitches or stuff like that.
Testament to the resilience of generations of black Americans who kept their eyes set on the nation's North Star. That North Star was the idea that we're all created equal in the image of God and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. While we've never lived up to it, we've never fully walked away from it either. That's because of you and generations before you who led the march from slavery to freedom toward more than a perfect union.
Is he drunk? He sounds drunk.
But let's be clear, they're old ghosts in new garments trying to take us back. Well, there are.
Oh, that sounds like a variation of they're going to put y'all back in chains that he was talking about in previous iterations of speeches.
Flashback.
They're going to put y'all back in chains.
End of flashback.
Not good, but it's the old Joe Biden. Sure, it sounds like he's on his third rum and coke, but that's also, that's Joe. We're used to that. The slurring of the speech, they talk about he has a speech impediment. I'm not really here for that, but it's good to see he's doing the same old fear-mongering, and he's sounding like a soused grandpa at a cookout.
I'm drunk. You're drunk. Everybody's drunk.
Taking away your freedoms, making it harder for black people to vote or have your vote counted. Closing doors of opportunity. Attacking the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you can believe it, banning books about black experiences. Okay.
What was that at the end there? He did something come back up on him, or Okay, so this is not a great look, but it's also not Joe at his worst, right? I think we can forgive him a little bit on this here.
Trying to erase and rewrite history. Our history is not just about the past, it's about our present and our future.
We're slowing down.
It's whether that future is the future for all of us, not just for some of us.
All right, looking good.
I just returned from France, where I visited the beaches of Normandy.
Oh, believe it, we know all about it. We've seen the clips of Joe Biden going to sit down, maybe sitting down, not sitting down. Some people think he's pooping his pants. It's been going around everywhere. In fact, there's a dance move dedicated to that whole experience in Normandy.
Ready? Just Biden. Ready? Just Biden! Just Biden!
But enough of all that frivolity and fun. Let's get back to the speech here.
To commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day, which was the first step in liberating all of Europe and changing civilization. On that hallowed ground, I spoke about a brave American soldier who fought tyranny for the hope, freedom, of democracy. That includes the Red Ball Express, a convoy of mostly black soldiers.
Okay, I think he said Rainbow Express, and I'll look it up later, but take the marbles out your mouth, Joe.
Who landed in Normandy in wake of the D-Day to rush supplies to the frontiers and the front lines. These black soldiers were a link in a distinguished line of patriots, enslaved and freed, who risked their lives in every war since the founding of our ideals, and we don't know fully what American soil is.
Hey, run that by me again.
What? First of all, mention a frontier, and we don't know what American soil is? The wheels are coming off now, folks. The longer he's going, the more he's realizing it's past his bedtime. I think this was at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. And the more he's not focused. And it's because of that, and I'll say it again, feeble mind, feeble body that we've been talking about for months. There's been whispers about replacing Joe Biden. But after this speech, and indeed, based upon what happened in Normandy, the growing tenor has been that maybe Joe should step aside. Maybe Grandpa has got to go be put to bed here.
61 years ago this week, he was gunned down at home in Mississippi in the poison of white supremacy. But all these years later, his spirit endures. You all know his name. It was Medgar Evers. Last month, I awarded Medgar Evers the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our nation's highest civilian.
Presidential Medal of Freedom? Is freedom, right? I mean, okay, maybe I'm nitpicking now. Maybe I'm being a little too hard on Joe. He's had a long 4 years being president. Am I being too hard on him? Let's make this the topic of the day. Is this an example of what people are talking about with Joe Biden's feeble mind, feeble body, not being able to be the nominee that Democrats want? Let me know in the comments what you think about this speech and these excerpts. To me, this is just not what I've come to expect from the leader of the free world, the most powerful man in the world. But it's Joe, and we've sort of lowered the bar here, maybe? I don't know. But let's just keep going.
In honor, posthumously. Because life reminds us of our change that we have to keep in redeeming the soul of America. Folks, that's what Juneteenth is all about. This is why I awarded the Medal of Freedom to Miss Oprah Lee as well, the grandmother of Juneteenth. She knew so long as she was denied.
What was that? I got to go back a little bit for that one.
She knew so long as she was denied.
Okay, I'm going to try that one more time here, and let's see if we can get somewhere close to what that was.
She knew so long as she was denied.
I got nothing.
This is who the greatest number of Americans ever voted for. This is what you get when you do anti-voting. You vote against someone rather than voting for someone. I can see why the tenor of the Biden replacement theory is out there from a speech like this.
Our freedom can never be secured. A day of profound weight and power. A day to remember the original sin of slavery and the extraordinary capacity to emerge from those powerful moments and painful moments with a better vision for ourselves. And let us remember who we are. We're the United States of America.
Well, I'm glad he remembered that at least.
And there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you for tonight.
We're gonna bring down the band a little bit here because I don't want to get copyright strike here. All right, does Joe know where he's going? He was kind of walking, just wandering around the stage. He's gonna go that way. He's walking back. Oh, good. Someone gave him the signal which way to go. Good. I'm glad he's getting to go where he's got to go here. So, folks, this is typical Joe Biden. And lately, typical Joe Biden has not been cutting the mustard when it comes to the electorate. Donald Trump is surging in many battleground states, as we've covered on this channel. And when we come back from the break, we're going to see at least 2 different instances of people talking about Biden remorse and how they may want to replace him as their Democratic nominee. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So besides the news of Biden partying down at the early Juneteenth party, there's been speculation amongst Democratic consultants and number crunchers that Joe just ain't got it anymore. His numbers have dipped to an all-time low of, I got it written down here, 37.4% favorability. And I think there's panic starting to happen in Democratic circles. The cracks are starting to show.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've come too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to...
Buyer's remorse is rippling through the Democrat ranks. And Clinton guru James Carville says, don't blame me. I never wanted the guy.
It isn't a choice that I was crazy about. I actually was very public that I thought that President Biden should not run for re-election. But he did, and it's him and Trump, and that's where I am. The lack of enthusiasm among young people for public policy or public service or being involved in the public square is quite disheartening.
It is, and having an octogenarian at the top of your ticket doesn't really inspire young people, I would think.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
And the Democrat numbers guru, Nate Silver, announced today that the Biden approval rating has reached an all-time low and says Biden is in much worse shape than he was 4 years ago.
Let's go through what Nate Silver said on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. But Biden just hit a new all-time low in approval, 37.4%, we mentioned that earlier, at 538 yesterday. That means that the disapproval is much, much higher. I think it's around like 56%. Dropping out would be a big risk, but there's some threshold below which continuing to run is a bigger risk. Imagine thinking that about a sitting president. Are we there yet? I don't know, but it's more than fair to ask. Nate Silver is inviting the questioning of the viability of a Biden candidacy.
All right, let's not get into panic mode.
Now, this isn't the first time that Nate Silver has sounded this alarm bell. He did the same thing close to Memorial Day this year, and he had this to say.
Democrats might be better off replacing Joe Biden on the ticket. If you were really as concerned about defeating Donald Trump as Democrats claim they are, then you should be doing everything in your power to maximize the chance that you win.
And apparently maximizing that chance means ditching Joe Biden. Age, time, they come for us all. We're all going to be in this position that Joe Biden's in where you've lived your life and you're holding on to whatever you can that is your routine or that what defines you. We've seen it before with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who stayed on the bench at the Supreme Court until she passed. And many Democrats thought that it was selfish of her to do that because it enabled the other side in politics, the Republicans, Donald Trump, to choose her successor. The same can be said now from Democratic circles about Joe Biden. He is endangering the Democratic ticket, some say. And while I think that he's earned the right to choose his exit from the stage, there is some credence to that in a common sense manner. But the human being in me, and yes, even though I talk about politics a lot, there is a human being here inside somewhere, is saying let the man go out as he chooses. If he wants to go out on his shield, so be it. If he wants to step aside, then maybe he'll be cheered and his legacy will go and be looked at positively. But he's certainly taking a gamble going forward with this race, not only with his feeble mind and feeble body being further exposed and damaging his own personal legacy, but collectively as a party, it sounds like more than a few people are starting to wonder whether they need to put Grandpa Joe to bed and say, thank you very much, but we're moving on. We're going to see what happens with all this. I want to know what your opinion is about Joe Biden's speech that he gave for Juneteenth at that party, the lack of clapping on 2 and 4 and all that. Is that just a guy from Delaware thing, or is that an age thing, or is that just Joe? Let's get into the comments together to discuss Joe Biden's feeble mind, feeble body, and what people should do about it vis-a-vis this race. I want to know what you think, and as always, like and share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. I'll see you guys in the comments, where hopefully we'll remember why we're there and discussing all the shenanigans and buffoonery happening every day this week in, DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.